All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Samantha Weisbeck. I'm the owner and general manager here at Dancewear Center. And I'm joined by a very special guest today, and I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves. It's one of our newest DWC ambassadors.
Hi, my name is Alaina Fowler. I go by she, her, and I'm really happy to be here today.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Welcome. Cool. So we're going to start by just sharing a little bit about you. We want to know, can you tell us a little bit about your dancing journey?
Yeah, so I started dancing when I was two. My parents enrolled me in our local studio's mommy and me dance classes, and like my parents would trade off on taking me there, and that was kind of what sparked this whole journey. My mom danced when she was younger, and so it was a really big, important part of her life, and she wanted me to get to experience that as well. But I continued taking classes at Fidalgo Dance Works, and that's where I currently dance. But I started taking it like more seriously when I was 7 or 8. And then I guess like the really big pivotal part of my like dance career was when I was 12. I got my first like big role. I was Clara in the Nutcracker, and that was like my moment of like, okay, I really want to take this seriously. This is something that I really want to do. Um, and then later that year, I was put on point, and that was another huge monumental thing because, like, I remember watching the big girls in the studio and just absolutely idolizing them and hoping that I eventually could get there one day. And yeah, after that, I just kind of stuck to it. I went to my first summer intensive. That same year, actually, I just turned 13. And that was through the Summer Dance Lab over in Walla Walla. And I was there for 4 weeks. And it was the first time that I had really been away from my parents for that long. And it was definitely scary, and it was definitely a good experience. And I learned a lot, and I think that that intensive was like the reason that like I am where I am today. It just kind of like kick-started it and gave me a little kick. um, but yeah, there was one particular ballet instructor. Her name is Christina, Miss Christina, and she all throughout COVID offered me privates, and so I was still dancing twice, sometimes 3 days a week with her. And I think that was another really, really big part of my dance journey because I think if it hadn't been for her, I probably would have quit. And I'm really thankful for how hard she pushed me. And like, I suffered a pretty bad knee injury. I tore my MCL and part of my meniscus. And during that same time period, and so she was like the reason that like I got back up on my feet and continued dancing and got over my fears. And yeah, she really pushed me to be the dancer that I am today. Uh,
That's so awesome. That's so cool. And then you're continuing your training right now, right? And then you're headed to another summer intensive this year, right?
yes.
Yes, very exciting. Cool. Awesome. Well, can you share with us a little bit about why you applied to be a DWC ambassador?
So one of my friends, I dance with her. She's, I believe, 1 or 2 years older than me. Her name's Kendall. She's a current ambassador, and I remember when she came to us and told us that she was doing this. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And I've helped her take pictures for some of her like posts and that kind of thing, and like she's kept us all very updated with the process. And I just I was really inspired by like how much impact and change you guys like promote and create, and like what you guys have done like in the ballet community and like there's the dance community in general, and like I guess creating a safe space for dancers. Um, and I really, really liked what you guys were doing, and I wanted to be a part of it. And so I applied, and I honestly didn't think that I was going to be accepted. But I'm really, really happy to be here, and I'm really excited to see where this goes.
Well, we're really happy to have you. It's very exciting.
Thank you.
Um, can you tell us a little bit about just what's your favorite thing about dance?
Oof. Okay. For me, dance is like therapy. Like, I could have the worst, most terrible day, and I get to the studio, like, I put on my tights and leotard, and I could have been crying 5 minutes before in my car. But as soon as you step into that studio, all that matters is, like, what you're doing, the movement that you're doing, the music that you're listening to, like, and just working and improving on yourself. And time flies so fast for at least me when I'm dancing or taking classes, and like that's my biggest distraction because in that room like nothing else matters. Like all that matters is that you're pushing yourself and working through the movements and pushing yourself to be better, and it's really helped me a lot. And I yeah. I also really love the community. Like I'm really like blessed in my studio. Like I have a great like community there, and everyone is amazing and wonderful, and I'm really thankful for how hard the teachers work to create a safe space like that, because I know that there are a lot of people that aren't as lucky in that sense, and we have created a really really good safe community. And it's just like you truly feel loved by the teachers and the directors, and they make a really big effort to make personal connections with each student, and I think that that goes a long way. And I know it did for me at least, and I know talking to other girls that it means the world.
It's very, very, very special. I love that. Um, well, and then kind of on the flip side, what has been your maybe was, maybe still is your biggest challenge within dance?
So I have a lot of issues with my body and accepting and loving myself. I know that a lot of dancers struggle with this, and it's kind of a very taboo thing in the dance world to talk about. I mean, it's over the years it's become a lot more like talked about, I guess. But I struggled with an eating disorder for around 5 years. It started when I was 12, and I just I would see these other girls, and I just I thought that if I looked like them, then I would be better and I would be perfect. And I would see the girls online that had the tiny little legs and the very slender bodies, and I just when I looked in the mirror, I didn't necessarily see that, and it tore me apart because being surrounded by mirrors and tight clothing and constantly having to look at yourself because you have to apply corrections and all of that, it took a really big toll on my mental health and my relationship with my body. Um, I've worked through that, and that was like a main thing like that I like really really wanted to work on this past like year or 2 years, and I'm at a place where I'm like happy with myself, and my body and my relationship with food has increased majorly. And I think I finally realized that my body does so much for me, and like I can't improve and I can't be better and I can't be the best version of myself if I'm not giving it everything that I need. Um, And another huge part of that for me was going to the gym. Because originally, when I started going to the gym, as most people do, I was like, "Oh, I have to be tiny. I need to be this perfect dancer body." And then after a couple of months, my mindset shifted, and instead of focusing on how thin I was or what my legs looked like, it would turn into, oh my gosh, I love the way that my thighs look. Like I'm so proud that I'm building muscles. Like, and like the people in my like dance community noticed it too, and like the teachers would be like, "Oh my gosh, Elena, your calves look amazing. Like your muscles look like so strong." Like, and it really helped my mindset. And um, over the past couple years, my studio has become increasingly, I guess, aware of like the other dancers that are struggling with this. And this next Nutcracker, I was talking with our director, and she said that they are bringing in a nutritionist and a mental health specialist to help with these things because I thought that I was going through all of this alone when it was all happening, and I thought that I was the only one, and I was constantly comparing myself to my friends in like my classes. And this past Nutcracker, we were all kind of in this little dressing room, and I think it was the first time that we had truly been honest with each other about all of this, and we were all thinking the same thing about each other. Like the people that I compared myself to for the past 5 years had been comparing themselves to me, and it was like the first time that we were truly honest with each other and honest with ourselves. And I think it made a really big impact because we were then able to go to the teachers and talk to them about it. And they have been super supportive. And they're one of my teachers, she like brings like a snack bag. And like if someone's feeling lightheaded, she's like, "Oh, eat food. What have you eaten today? Like I give you food. Like here, take some water." Like the community that we have at my studio is I'm really, really thankful for, and I think that they are one of the main reasons that I was able to get past that and am working towards a healthy recovery. Sorry, I've rambled a little bit there, but
That's okay. No, it's super important. I love hearing the story, and I love hearing how just at the end, like, at the end there, you're realizing like, oh, we're all thinking this about each other. And it's very interesting when we take that brave step to like be vocal about something. It's oftentimes that we realize like, oh, I am not alone in this.
because
So
like when we had that conversation, like one of my best friends in the dance like community, her name's Jocelyn. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm constantly comparing myself to you. I just want to look like you. Like I wish I was as thin as you are. And she was like, Elena, like I wish I had your thighs. Like I wish I had curves like that. Like I wish that I looked like you. And then one of our other friends piped in and she was like, oh my gosh, like I wish that it was just like all of the
yeah,
things that we noticed about ourselves that we like wish the other we had from the other person. Like
yeah,
it was just a really nice moment of acceptance and like you
yeah,
alone in this and like
yeah,
the little things and half the things that we were talking about like I'd never noticed about the other people and like I guess it really just goes to show that it's all it's well most of the time it's all
yeah,
inside in your own perception of yourself and when you start to change your mindset and really truly love and appreciate yourself and who you are, like it makes a world of a difference.
yeah,
And, yeah. And now,
yeah,
kind of, Kendall started this a while ago, but anytime like a girl in one of our classes will talk badly about herself or her dancing or her body, we will just like scream positivity. We are
yeah,
no negativity in here. We are keeping it positive. And I think that like we make a joke out of it, but like it truly like has made such a difference. And I just I know that there are a lot of younger dancers that are coming up in the levels
Mhm.
that are also struggling with it, and I want them to know that we also were struggling with it, and they're not alone.
Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah. And so you're kind of giving us a little bit of this already, but what's some advice that you have for anybody who might be struggling with the same thing?
I think the really big turning point for me was I mentioned her earlier, but Miss Christina, she I had finally opened up to her about it, and she sat me down. We like stopped class. She sat me down, and she basically told me that if I did not give my body fuel and if I did not feed myself, that my body was just going to start disintegrating and eating away at the muscles that I had spent months and months and months working for. And I was not too happy about that. And I make a joke out of it, but like it was really sad because like all of the months of hard work that I've been putting in weren't really making a difference because I wasn't giving my body what I needed. And finally, I guess once you start meeting that like the goal of, well, not goal, but once you start meeting your needs, as terms as fuel, like you will notice a world of a difference. Like I it was really, really, really hard for me to eat 3 meals a day and to make sure that I wasn't just eating protein bars and granola bars all day, like that I was actually taking the time to get 3 meals a day to make sure that I was getting protein and carbs and not like avoiding carbs. I'm so sorry. And not like balance. Balance is a really big thing. And it really scared me because I started seeing changes in the way that I looked. And I was not okay with that because I had spent months and years hating myself and constantly trying to work towards a goal that was unattainable. And so I had to learn to be comfortable in change. And once I guess you start to have acceptance for your body and that yourself, it makes a world of a difference because you can't improve if you're not fueling yourself. I mean, you can, but it's just a really tedious process and it's not fun. It's really not fun. Like, once I love food, like, I am a huge food person, like, I'm always hungry. And, like, after so many years of restricting, it was such a relief to, like, oh, like, I want a pizza, I'm gonna go eat pizza. Oh, I want that cookie, I'm gonna go eat that cookie. And, like, it was such a relief. And I'm finally content with who I am as a person. And it took a lot. It took a long time, and it does not come easy. I will tell you that it takes a long time. And like we all have bad days. Like I sometimes will feel myself falling into a pit of it again. When I come up on shows, I feel myself falling into it. But I have to remind myself what I'm working for and how long it took to get here, and that you have to remind yourself what you're working for. And we all have bad days, but it's how you work through those bad days. And yeah, that's what
Yeah,
matters.
I love that. Well, awesome. Well, thanks for chatting with us today. Is there anything, are there any resources that you want to share with the audience? Like anything that maybe has helped you, like even if it's just like an Instagram account or something like that?
Um, I kind of touched on this earlier, but your other students, like the people that you're in
Mm,
class with every day,
yeah.
because if chances are if you're struggling with something, there are probably 5 other people that are struggling with the same thing. And I know that's not really necessarily a resource, but it's good to have a sense of that you're not alone. Um, and I think that was what was most helpful for me. And finally realizing that I wasn't alone going through this and that there were people supporting me. Um, there are tons of good like Instagram and TikTok accounts, especially in the past like year and a half that have popped up. Um, I can't remember her name, but there's this girl on Instagram who I guess shows like the two different angles and how different lighting and different posing
Mm,
and changes the way that your body looks and
mhm.
perspectives. I think being able to see that, hey, this is the same person in two different like things, and
Yeah.
it was very eye-opening for me, and just seeing that it's not real and
Mm,
nobody actually looks like that, and
right.
good to have realistic expectations and a realistic understanding of what the human body is supposed to
Yeah,
look like. And
totally. Yeah, and what we'll do is you can send it over. We'll link it below for everyone to see. I do want to come back to what you were saying though, because I know you were like, oh, well, like community, it's not really like I don't really feel like that's a resource. It is though. Like I feel like the biggest resource we have is our community. And what I love about what you did within your own community was you guys opened up, you had this conversation, and then you went and got it. You got adults involved that have even more resources available, and they were able to provide you with, I mean, this is amazing. Like now you've got a nutritionist and you've got a mental health professional coming in, and that's tremendous because I know, a lot of dancers my age, like we didn't have those resources available, and we're learning about these things now, and it's like, wow, how different would that have been? And so I just want to commend you and like taking the brave step of like having the conversation and then getting people involved that could help, because I think you're right. I think that's actually probably the biggest resource we have is each other.
yeah,
So
thank
hats
you.
off to you. Congrats.
Thank you. I am thankful for the other girls that opened up, and I'm appreciative for them, or to them,
Mhm.
for making me feel like I wasn't alone.
Yeah.
And I guess that was kind of the big thing for me, and that's what like allowed me to have the confidence to go and talk to like my instructors about this. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I love it. Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to go ahead and post this on YouTube so everyone can watch. If you guys like this video, you can go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and hit the like button. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. Thanks, everyone.
thank you.